Xrp family, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. Appreciate all the love that you guys show on a day-to-day basis. Let's waste no more time and take a look at what's happening with our good old friend and what we could be expecting as we are going further into the week. So pretty much speaking about the week itself, as we did start off from Monday, it's been pretty much positive since then. The market has been in this upward trajectory, obviously leading into the FOMC meeting coming up next week. The price of XRP right now, though, is at $3. We're obviously sitting above the confirmation zone, and again, psychological level as well, up about 1% in USD, but down about 0.5% in Bitcoin comparative. Valuation 179 billion and the 24-hour trading volume of 4.2 billion. As always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So our good old friend, SEC Chairman Paul Atkins, guys, this is the chairman, the head of the SEC, who's coming out and saying these word for word: crypto time has come. Literally, let that sink in. Gary Gensler would have never said that, but Paul Atkins here is saying crypto time is coming. He's dropped a lot of positive things about crypto over the course of the last 24 hours at this conference, of course, kind of shedding some light as to how important crypto industry really is and how America is going to be, that global capital when it comes to, crypto adoption. And again, all fairness, we got to give credit where it belongs. In the last 8 months, the amount of things that have happened to the crypto space and, the enhancements, the regulatory clarity, the framework changing, so much has happened, and yet people overlook that, but not on this channel. We got to give credit where it belongs, and we need to see how far things have come in such a short span of time. But take a look at this altcoin season index. Jumps to 67 from 29 last month, signaling stronger altcoin momentum. Are we surprised? If we're looking at the dominance, speaks for itself, and we've been anticipating that for quite some time. And I think that rate cut aspect would really, be that catalyst behind that, of course. But take a look at this. Goldman Sachs CEO David says, I'm pretty confident we'll have a 25 basis rate cut. And at this point, we don't need any rocket science to come out and, tell us that, hey, you know what? We're going to see a 25 BPS rate cut. Literally, the probability of that is already close to 100%. The excitement comes in if we see a double, like if we see a 0.50 BPS. I think that changes the game. But again, I think this is pretty much set in stone. And I think the market, to be honest with you guys, I think the market is slowly but surely pricing itself in for the FOMC meeting. So maybe a day or two before the FOMC meeting, we do see the market retrace. I would not be surprised if that happens. But ETF flows around 741.5 million of Bitcoin and 171.5 million of Ethereum were bought on September the 10th. Let that sink in. Just a few weeks ago, we were seeing the outflows. People are saying, the outflows are happening, this and that, yada, yada, yada. And here we have it once again, inflows coming in, and we're seeing, some big numbers, to be quite honest with you. And again, we need to understand the demand factor for these digital assets are much higher than it was in the prior years. And that is something, we cannot overlook. And this is another example of that. Again, take a look at this Clarity Act in the Senate. The bill must receive a 60-40 vote to pass, which means it's entirely dependent on enough Democrats to sign on. Remember that the stablecoin bill was passed going over 60, which is a good sign. On top of that, go forward green. Shout out to Chad. XRP net inflows are coming in from USD directly on Coinbase and Gemini, a bit one as well. Total net inflows at $29 million on the day. And SEC extends a review of the CBOE BZX proposal to list Franklin XRP ETF to November 14th. This is something I want to talk to you guys about today. I want to kind of focus more on this. So they've delayed the Franklin Templeton XRP ETF to November 14th, and we had the timeline in our perspective to be sometime in October. And a lot of still, these ETF filings, they're, when it comes to the overall deadline, it is still October. But now, like, it just makes no sense that, we see some of them getting approved in October, and then then we're going to see some getting approved in November. I think it's going to happen in one day, and you're going to see a huge chunk of that. So this makes me wonder, do we think it's delayed? Let me know in the comments what your personal thoughts are. Take a look at what this person says. I can't believe they're pushing the dates back. This might be what we see for the other October 18th in obviously October. Let me know in the comments what your personal thoughts are on that. Let's take a look at what's happening with the price as far as dominance is concerned. Dominance is pulling down, which is a great sign, of course. Exactly what we want to see if you're an altcoin holder. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is pushing towards the upside. Of course, still not at the confirmation zone for us, but we are in this upwards trajectory. I've told you guys time and time in every single update to focus on this upwards trend, and so far that has been still in play. So that's great to see. But XRP right now is sitting at $3. We did briefly come below the key resistance, but we're maintaining our price above that $3 psychological level. But take a look at this wick at 316. This is very interesting here, and I personally think this was obviously caused maybe due to a market buy, but I'm projecting this is going to get filled in. Believe it or not, I'm targeting this to get filled in, and that's my personal thoughts, of course. But the price is holding really nicely. Can't complain as far as XRP's price is concerned. So far, so good. Got to take it step by step. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Love you all. See you later. Crypto ZX, and peace out.